I'll start by discussing the basics of composable infrastructure, and will then be joined by my colleague Scott Sinclair to discuss OpenFlex, its attributes, value, and market relevance. Composable infrastructure sounds desirable, but as an emerging approach, it's worth saying what we do and also should mean by it. Essentially, it's an approach that uses disaggregated resources, compute, storage, networking, that can be dynamically combined in just the right mix and for just the right time to serve a given application need. Imagine the attributes of a public cloud, but on premises. Colloquially, composable infrastructure is about getting humans out of the resource allocation business. We're expensive, we're slow, and we often lack the prerequisite skills. That's not a casual assertion. ESG research reveals the number 2 IT skills shortage, after cybersecurity, which is top of everything right now, is IT orchestration and automation. If that sounds ironic, it's because all vendors claim automated simplicity, so much simplicity that it's complex to manage. The greater and simpler and more open and heterogeneous the automation, the better, since that enables maximized resource flexibility, granularity, and alacrity, serving applications precisely and meritocratically, and thus optimizing costs. The orchestration of composability is one thing, but it also demands infrastructure that can be composed, plus have monitoring and self-analytics to remain optimized. We'll get more into the specifics of what Western Digital is bringing to this party in just a moment. Other methods for resource allocation via trouble tickets and change orders, or recently hyper-converged products, have inherent compromises in terms of management overheads, flexibility, granularity, or speed. One way or another, they're specific boxes fixed for a duration and built with ops and not apps in mind. This is a perfect time to be improving application resourcing. As we record this in mid-2020, many organizations are planning to spend more on IT, and ESG research shows that even beyond enabling work-from-home demands or increased business, the biggest focus is to implement long-term strategies that provide more flexible and resilient IT infrastructure. Composable infrastructure is just such a thing. It's not cloaking existing infrastructure as cloud-like. Instead, it's a foundational element for real private clouds, where, if I'm allowed one obvious pun, every app gets to play its own resources tune. As promised, I'm now joined by Scott Sinclair, who's going to introduce us to some of the details around the new OpenFlex product from Western Digital. And then the two of us will get back together to discuss its market relevance in more detail. Scott, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So Western Digital's new OpenFlex technology will have IT architects rethinking data center design. It's composable disaggregated storage infrastructure, offering ultra-fast performance with an end-to-end NVMe and NVMe-over-Fabrics design. Unlike more traditional storage protocols, NVMe is both streamlined, it's parallel, it maximizes low latency performance, and it unleashes the full value of flash storage and SSDs. And NVMe-over-Fabrics takes those same advantages and extends them over a network. By leveraging NVMe-over-Fabrics, OpenFlex allows multiple hosts concurrent access to storage over Ethernet at low latency similar to those offered by direct attached storage. OpenFlex supports the ability to fan out to 6 connections without a switch. With the network, though, its ability to scale is much, much greater. And again, all with direct attached-like performance. The truly transformational benefits of OpenFlex likely come with the Open Composable API. So with this API, users or developers could create storage, compose new storage arrays programmatically. And the result can accelerate DevOps opportunities as well as expedite IT service delivery. And since the API is open, this technology could theoretically be extended to other technologies in the future.
What would you say are the most optimum workloads that could take advantage of composable infrastructure?
If we think about, modern business initiatives and modern business investment, right? We're just seeing this explosion of the use of data and really how much data drives modern business. Modern applications need high performance access to data, whether that's analytics-based workloads where we've seen a huge investment over the years and really just a giant push to real-time insights, which again fuel the need for high performance data. We see the same thing in artificial intelligence workloads such as machine learning, which require low latency access to large volumes of data as well. And even things like modern cloud native apps, containerized environments, for example, need low latency performance access. In some ESG research, we saw container-based workloads are twice as likely to identify storage performance as a top challenge than traditional block-based workloads.
Could you expand a little on the distinctions, the opportunities that the different fabrics bring to the equation?
Well, if you think about the fabric, right, the fabric lays the foundation for the infrastructure. Any inefficiencies or bottlenecks essentially have a ripple effect. As IT infrastructure scales, as modern application demands increase and become more parallel in nature, efficiencies in the fabric are essential. And this is why NVMe is so critical, because of the advantages it provides. Older technologies such as SAS and SATA simply can't keep up with modern demands. And this is why NVMe and NVMe-over-Fabrics are necessary for businesses to keep pace with their data demands.
All right, Scott, so you're sounding pretty positive about this overall to me. Does that mean this is the future of resource management, composability?
The future is hard to predict, Mark. But when you think about it, IT needs a simpler, more efficient way to deliver high-performance storage to the apps. And when you think about this disaggregated design, it definitely meets both of those criteria. And especially when you think about this could be the foundation for a future composable application infrastructure, where you can leverage the API for apps to programmatically create and provision their own storage. Absolutely, when you combine all of that, this definitely could be the future.
The thing that I really like is that this is right in the wheelhouse of what Western Digital does. It used to provide the components and the foundational elements for traditional three-tier IT. Then obviously it did the same for HCI. And now we have it doing it for composable infrastructure. So with all the advantages we've talked about for composability, slipping in one little pun here, I think what's great is it can be music both to IT and to the business sides of organizations.